This is the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. And this morning we were going to look at setting up goals in Google Analytics. However, it seems that a few other things are on our minds. So we might fall off the topic. My name is Lolan, and in my coaching and consulting work, I help solopreneurs stay focused and motivated as we take their business to the next level. We use some pretty simple structures and some, what used to be easy technology. I don't know about that right now. We'll be right back after this. So, good morning and greetings wherever you are, and welcome to the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. This is a weekly show intended as a support to solopreneurs. We get together because we enjoy each other's company. We've all made friends. Most of us have never truly met face to face. But we share something in common. We love exchanging ideas and experimenting, trying new things, and we also give and receive support. So you can discover what we stand for by looking at the operating principles on my website page, beingyourownCEO.com. Contrary to what you may have just seen a little while ago, I moved my hosting over to another site and need to make some changes. So anyway, I do want to welcome the viewers who happen to be out there. I know there are a couple. Heidi, I know you're there. I sure wish you were inside because our conversation probably is of interest to you this morning. So let us begin by giving the panel members an opportunity to say good morning and introduce themselves. So let's see. Vivek, how would you like to go first?
Namaste. My name is Vivek. VivekTechnology.com is my brand. That's also my website, where I am trying to implement all Google Analytics goodies and so on. But my belief is that simplicity is ultimate in sophistication. So I always aim for keeping things simple, but it has to go through a lot of sophistication. So when it is being developed, you will see a lot of complicated things, but the aim is to reach simplicity. So I am in England, UK, and it's early autumn days, so the temperature has started dropping. It's a sunny day today, sunny but cold. and I'm glad to be here.
So welcome here, Vivek.
Thank you.
I'm happy you're here, and of course you and I have been working on some very interesting things that maybe we might want to talk about later on. So,
Yeah,
so thanks for being here.
thank you.
So, David, how would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Dave Flannery. I'm with websites for small businesses.com and United Country Sauk Valley Realty Team Flannery with real estate agents. I moderate the chat for Loanne, and right now we have two people in there. We have Heidi from Italy, and we have, I believe it's Ross, maybe
Roz.
Roz,
Roz.
okay, from South Australia, where it is 2:30 a.m.
So,
If they,
Roz, you didn't get back to bed, did you, after our texting? I'm sorry. I think I was the one that woke you up. Oh, glad you're here, though. Oh, dear. That's another tale. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, so. Oh dear. So I see Alana is missing for a moment, so I'll skip over and invite Fred. How are you, Fred, this morning?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Full of Thanksgiving dinners, which
Yeah.
we had a couple invitations, so I ended up on Sunday and Monday going to Thanksgiving dinners. I went to see Cirque du Soleil on Saturday, and that was wonderful. Had
Wow.
a wonderful weekend
Oh. So where did you go and see that?
at the arena.
Yeah,
In the arena?
can you move the microphone closer to you? Sorry, can
Uh,
barely hear you.
I can barely hear me. Okay. Well, the
Mm.
microphone says it's on, and the volume
There, that's
says I
better.
don't.
That's
Is that
better.
better?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Oh.
I just I just tipped it. So it was wonderful to go to the arena. I've seen Corteo before, the Cirque du
Hmm.
Soleil show, but it was years ago in Vancouver in the Big Top. This time it's an arena, and it's interesting to see how they converted it to be in a hockey arena. But it
Oh.
was wonderful.
Wow. Cool.
In the Save-On Center here.
Yeah, yeah. Right on.
That was wonderful.
Oh. So I'm surprised you're here. You've had such a busy weekend.
Yeah, and I just finished walking the dog. So I was a little bit late coming in. I thought, oh, I got to walk the dog before because the dog won't last
Right.
until this is finished. So
Yeah.
I rushed out and just came back in.
Yeah.
So I'm Fred Jones, located in Victoria, currently in Oak Bay, dog sitting, and I look after sessions for young people, helping them with their communication, leadership skills, help them become leaders that, our world really needs. The more we look at what's going on in the world, I look forward to seeing what the young people are going to be able to help. So, and I'm happy to be here. I always enjoy these sessions. Always learn something.
Well, I don't know how much you're going to learn this morning because we're all very preoccupied this morning.
Okay, well, you never know.
So,
You always, even we might learn what not to do.
so, but I'm happy you're here, Fred. Alana, are you there? Are you able to come in and introduce yourself? Maybe not. Looks like she has everything muted. Looks like I don't know what's going on there. So, yes, this morning we were going to talk about setting goals in Google Analytics, and maybe we should, but I think we need to get some of this stuff off our chest first. So, yesterday it was announced that Google is going to shut down Google Plus. So that has some rather large implications for myself and our friend Heidi, who's sitting on the outside. Vivek, I think it will have an effect on you.
yeah,
And I can think of a few others who we all use that plugin that our good friend Roland created. And this announcement means that plugin is no longer going to work. So that makes that opens up a whole bunch of questions about how what are our alternatives, and how are we going to manage all of that. So
They are not shutting it down immediately
no.
till August next year, but yeah, it is the clearest indication of Google Plus being on its last days, unless something drastically changes, or
Uh-huh.
popular demand or whatever. I don't know. There has been a petition going around asking all Google Plus fans or people who use Google Plus to sign up the petition. It's change.org petition. I can post a link to that in the VCP page. And yeah, let's see how.
So the big conversation, as we were just sitting here and speculating and talking, my big question was, and it's, I mean, my goal always is to be hosting whatever I'm doing on my website, rather than in YouTube or Facebook or whatever. And so I'm sort of thinking to myself, well, if the VCP plugin is no longer going to work, how are we going to make that work? So basically, my first question was, and I think Vivek, you helped to answer that one, is can you embed a live streaming on your website? And the answer is yes, you can. But you can't, then we have to figure out what alternatives are there available to us in WordPress that allow us to put those comments.
Yeah, one thing, allowing allowing web visitors to put a comment on your website is, as such, it's easy. But the problem is, okay, somebody puts a comment and you want to respond to that comment. Can you?
Yeah.
In most cases, no, because when people put comment on the website, they probably won't give you their email ID,
Right.
or any other way of communicating back to them. With the Google Plus and the VCP page, you could respond back on your own website, respond to that comment, and
Yeah.
they would be, whoever put the comment will be notified that you responded to their comment. And
That's
that
right.
makes them aware of the fact that, yes, you have responded to their comments, and they can go and read the comment, and the conversation can start.
Yes.
Conversation. That's the major
Yeah.
point there.
Yeah.
I think
So,
David has something.
David, yeah.
Yeah, Javita has joined us. She says namaste from India to all of us.
Namaste, Jivita. Jivita. I can't get. It's so hard to put the emphasis in a different place. We're happy you're here, Javita. Yeah. So, yeah. But going back to what Vivek just said, I believe there is a plugin that allows you to publish the comments that are on your, but there were some issues in and around that. So that will be a big question. What alternatives do we find? Yeah.
Yeah. One of the aspects which most people have not really understood or appreciated is actually that Google Plus is kind of a identity aspect. I mean, you can identify a person by their Google Plus ID very easily. You can send a notification to them. They can notify back to you using your Google Plus ID. So with the Google Plus ID of two people, they can communicate with each other.
Yeah.
That if that aspect goes away, how do you?
Yeah.
Okay, you can bring in comments from elsewhere using some plugin, but the point will still remain. How do you communicate back to them?
Yes.
Is it via email? Is it via what is the mechanism of communicating back to them? Okay, they put a comment, and let's say they put a comment with a question, for example. You want to respond to that. How do you respond to that? That is the question.
So something else that I heard and read, I guess that was late last night, was that part of the announcement that Google made was that they realized that there wasn't that much traffic. They weren't getting it wasn't an alternative to Facebook. However, they did say that their observation was that the main people who were using Google Plus were enterprise people. So in other words, inside an organization. So it sounded like they were going to keep that going. So, and I guess the question arose in my mind. So I'm a G Suite person. Does that make me still have that available? I don't know, because there are several categories within Google, and I'm a G Suite. I don't know whether that word enterprise was being used as a category or as a general term. So there's another question, and it looks as though I guess the question arose for me was, well, if Google is getting rid of Google Plus and they're concentrating on their enterprise people, those are the people paying, what's going to happen to all the people that have a Gmail account?
I think no. As far as I can understand, they're not touching the Gmail and those aspects.
Well, right now. I mean, I realize they didn't have anything to say about that, but I'm just thinking, well, if they did that, that's the next thing they're going to do, is they're going to remove the capability unless you pay. So that's where I see it going.
No,
I think they're
no.
I think they're quite successful with their Gmail.
Yeah,
and that
I
that
don't
was
think they're going to do anything with Gmail. No.
That was in competition to Hotmail, not so much with Facebook, and and Yahoo Mail, and it competes quite well. I see more Gmail, at least around here, than I do either one of those. So I think they succeeded in that part of it, and I don't think the backlash of changing that to a paid account and everything would be quite extensive if they changed that.
Yeah, but it's.
But one thing, Lowell, Google's major revenue comes from advertisement.
Yes, I know.
For the advertisement to work, they need people's preferences and so on and so forth. What do you like to see, or what are you more likely to buy, and so on. So Gmail, the free version of Gmail, gives them the opportunity to look at what you're talking about in your emails. Whoever is signing up to the free version of Gmail should actually read the
Yes.
terms of service
Yes.
and
They're getting
stop
everything, aren't they?
and stop complaining that Google is spying on them. No, Google is not really spying on them. They themselves have given permission to spy on them. So
Yeah, I know.
Javita says, she said, I don't think that Gmail will get affected. I think she's agreeing with.
Yeah. She's also saying, don't worry about pronouncing it rightly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Javita, because it just feels like it feels like making another part of your brain work when you put the emphasis somewhere else. So, yeah. So I want to recognize Jay. I see you there. Jay, what did you think of the announcement last evening?
What announcement last evening?
Google is discontinuing G+.
Oh, you mean the free consumer version?
yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah, I think that actually presents a great opportunity for people that have G Suite.
Well, as I was saying before you came, what happens to our VCP page?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not so long ago, I don't remember where I was when I predicted this, but I knew it was coming. The hammer was coming sooner than later. So I think it was a webinar about a month ago or so. I said that I think the end is near. But you were.
I'm sorry. You had stated that in the webinar. I remember hearing it from you then.
Witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, roll with the punches, right? I mean, my PM box has been in Wealthy Affiliate has been kind of exploding now because it's something that I've taught within the whole 7-step system, right? Is to how to help your site or how your posts get out there is posted in Google Plus. So that being said, I mean, it's a 6-month sunset. So, I don't think it's going to be a huge impact on business. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to feel it because it's primarily how they use their stuff, right? I mean, I'm now going to have to shift the way that I promote my clients' pages and be in the community. But the one thing that's striking my curiosity is what exactly do they mean by consumer G+, right?
They said it was going to be for that it was more successful with the enterprise, and that's what I was just questioning. Did they really mean enterprise as a general term or a category term? Because there is an enterprise category which is very expensive and intended for huge companies.
Right. Well, I mean, I know that there's in G Suite, there's a toggle when you go to plus.google to have it only your organization posts or public posts. So I'm going to mess around with that and I'm going to do some research and see, what can be the end result here. But you know what? I don't think it's going to be a huge deal from a local perspective, like from a local SEO perspective. We're now using something called Google Posts, which happens directly right inside Google My Business. Which they've actually just released the API. So anyone that has like tools, like publishing tools, like a social media tool, should see that coming down the tubes fairly soon. So,
what's this Google Post? What this is something I don't know about.
So if you go into, you've actually used it. It's
Google
the thing.
My Business.
Go in your Google My Business.
Okay. In there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but that doesn't answer a whole lot of questions that we. I'm not going to repeat them, but I mean we have a whole lot of questions about where it's going to go, how to still do everything on your own real estate. So. Well,
my feet are getting, my feet are used to being having the rug pulled out from underneath.
Right.
So I'm I mean, I'm getting rug burn, but I'm getting calluses at the same time.
Well, I think we're all feeling that way a little bit, and of course the other one was the big horrible thing that Microsoft did to everybody last week as well. So
What was that? What did they do?
oh, they did an update without
they
ever
did a-
testing it, and it shut a whole lot of people down and shut. They got so they couldn't find their documents, and
They had two radio buttons, one to send it to the testing team, the other to send it to the general public. So they pressed the wrong button. Guess which one?
Deploy.
Javita is commenting that Google My Business posts get exposures only for a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
7 days.
yes, that's right.
But it encourages you to actively post in there. So
That's true. I think, yeah. I usually get a little notification. You haven't posted anything. It's time to put something else in there.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I think I'm still concerned about how we're going to handle the whole VCP page. But that's going to take a bunch of research. So,
Look up chat roll. So I mean, if it's a dud, look up chat roll. They have a free version, which you can use multiple accounts to log in.
chat roll.
Mhm.
Okay. Heidi, do you hear that out there? Look up chat roll, because Heidi's using VCP as well.
Mm.
So, well, okay, so I got that off my chest. So, this morning we were going to talk about setting up goals in Google Analytics. And my little bit of, as a result of our session we did 2 weeks ago on just getting set up in Google Analytics, I'm certainly seeing a huge improvement of what I'm seeing in my in there now. Vivek and I spent several hours going in there and removing some old garbage that was clogging things up, and etc. So so I'm ready to move on to the next stage. And as I was thinking about, all right, so what do I need to think about in terms of setting up goals? Why would I want to set up goals or whatever? And it seemed to me that the very first step would be to be looking at your website and deciding and being extremely clear on what you want people to do when they get there. And that those steps are going to be what determines how and what you put into the analytics goals.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it one place that I looked, he talked about kind of looking at things from the macro level versus the micro level. So whether you want to sell things on your website, that's going to be different from if you want people to book something, or whether you want them to sign up for your newsletter and come back and read your content. I mean, these are all the areas that you need to kind of think about. So that's about as far as I got. How does everybody else? David, you
I've got Heidi with the going back a little bit, but I'd like to get this for her before we really change the subject. She tried chat roll once, didn't like it. Seems to be continuous, not for every show separately.
Oh, thank you, Heidi.
Okay, we can go back to Google
Yeah.
Analytics.
Well,
Sorry.
Jay, you looked like you were trying to respond to that.
Yeah, the paid version allows you to reset the role.
Oh,
So it's an easy, quick alternative, right? It's a quick solution. So I mean, it's it's not going to have all the fancy pants features of the VCP plugin, but it is an alternative.
so is it expensive?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh. It seems like everything we want to do now is a paid version. For sure. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's a sliding scale.
Okay. All right, so we'll just have to go and I mean, this whole thing is just raising the awareness that we need to do our research and see what alternatives we can find. So that's basically where we're at. So I was wondering if anybody has, other than Jay, I know you've set goals in your Google Analytics. Has anybody else set goals within analytics? Fred, what about you? Have you, with your website, have you set any goals?
No, I haven't. I actually only started Google Analytics after your recent discussion. So I've just got it running now on my website only for a few weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting familiar with it. So again, as I said, I learned something. So I thought, hey, I should try this. So I've just started. So I'm not far down the road at all. So I'm interested in hearing what others.
Yeah, you and I are in the same place then.
Okay.
And David, what about you? Are you using Google Analytics and goals on your sites?
I've not gotten to goals yet. I'm still having visit issues. You got to have a lot of, or not a lot, but you got to have some visitors to come to your sites. And I'm setting up a new one. Once it gets going, I'm sure that will generate enough visits that I'll be using goals.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good, that's a question that I have for Jay. I mean, does it really make any sense to set up goals until you've got loads and loads of traffic?
No, not at all. You could start a goal day one because it depends on the goal, really. Because personally, I think goals can help you measure your traffic in terms of the relevancy of the traffic coming in. So if you notice that, traffic point A seems to be working better from traffic point B, that's new knowledge that you can use to leverage. But the first thing you need to know is what is your end result, in terms of the website or the goal, right? A goal is essentially an end result. So that could be anywhere from a thank you page for someone filling out a form. A goal could be if someone's lasted on a page for a certain amount of time, like a duration. So if you have a new page that you've created that has an embedded video on there, you want to see, you want to make a goal where people stay on that page for at least 3 minutes. And then it gives you an idea as to how many people are actually, engaging with the comments or the content. So it could be a purchase, it could be a call. So if someone wanted to call you right from, it could be a goal could be visitors from search to a certain page via mobile. So it really can be a variety of different goals, right? And one thing that I wish Google Analytics would clarify is the difference between goals and events. An event is also considered a goal. An event would be if someone were to click on an affiliate link that leaves your site. You can actually track that by creating what's called an event. But that's also a goal, right? But that's a little more advanced. So that's
Well, I did see that there seemed to be 3 different categories: pages, events, and engagement. Yeah. So, but I mean, I still question whether it makes any sense to put a goal in if your traffic is still extremely minimal. I know.
Personally think it's good practice to do it right away, because if the goal is going to be, let's say someone fills in your contact form,
Right.
you know, that's an achievement, right? So you want to see that, you want to track that right from inception. And it kind of gives you a little bit of inspiration, I find, right? Because that goals tab is right in your dashboard. So you want to kind of, what can I do to get that going?
So, and I guess I don't know the answer to this question. Like, can you, I know you can within there, in terms of your traffic, you can look at it daily, weekly, monthly, annually. Can you do that same thing with the goals?
The goals are per an action basis, but yeah, you can set it up to see how many goals you've had within a week. You can customize the date range.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the default dashboard is 7 days.
Oh, okay. Right. So,
I was going to say, Jay, you do point out a good idea. I guess I should just quit being lazy with my own sites and set up my goals.
It's also just good practice, because if you're going to start working with clients, you're going to want to use that within, set that up for clients as well. So, and it's just good practice, because goals can be confusing, they can be really confusing, especially when you start adding the monetary value to the lead or to the goal, because sometimes goals can be a sale, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why they have that monetary thing, like I set up goals like within my wealthy affiliate funnel. I set up a goal that I classify as an $8 lead, right? So that if they turn into a premium, or they sign up to premium, that's the $8 commission. So that I can cross-reference that goal value to the actual commission value and see where people are not kind of committing. And I could see the direct funnels to where seems to be the most conversions from what source, and that is a really, really highly valuable thing.
So it is important to know where they came from. That's for sure. David?
I can track. Yeah.
Heidi is saying I get a lot of spam via contact form, and sometimes I think this is the only traffic I get. I am wondering how to stop that.
Make sure your contact form can't be filled by robots. You have to have something which checks whether the form is being filled by a robot or by a person.
As a CAPTCHA forms are quite efficient, which is actually owned by Google. So reCAPTCHA.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if you use reCAPTCHA, so let me reCAPTCHA.
Oh, is she talking about the chat role, or is she talking about
No, her contact page, I'm pretty sure.
Contact page within WordPress?
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's going to be her WordPress site. So this is reCAPTCHA, and it's actually owned by Google. So it's google.com/reCAPTCHA.
reCAPTCHA.
Yeah. And you just simply put your website in there. And then you put put the code in.
Ah. So is that a plugin?
Yes, WordPress actually does have a plugin for it.
Okay.
I use it with Contact Form 7, and it comes via that plugin. You set up your API code, and then you put your API code in the Contact Form 7, and it that automatically, when you put a reCAPTCHA in the form, that comes up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
the end result, here, I can show you the end result. So it's this little thing right here.
I'm not a robot.
So I
Okay.
just have to click that,
Yeah.
and then it says, oh, okay, Jay's real. Now, in some cases, what might happen is a little box would pop up and say, like, click all the squares that have street signs in them, right? Just to prove that you're human.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
But then I can fill out the form and I can, and then that actually mitigates quite a bit of spam.
Yeah. Okay. I've stumbled on that. I've clicked that I'm not a robot many times. But I don't think it's on my website. So there's another thing to pay attention to, Fred. You and I need So, Vivek, I'm wondering, have you used setting up goals for your? Because I know you said you had done a bit of research around
I had
analytics.
done the setting up goals, but then I did, in fact, I have put a comment in your VCP page. If you move your website to a different service provider or anything like that, then you have moved your goalposts, literally. You have to set them all over again.
Okay.
So, which I have not done yet. So that's the short answer. I did it before, but I moved my website. So
Okay. So then the first step is to look at each website and determine whatever steps you want the visitor to do, and those are going to determine what goals you're going to put into the analytics so that you can track.
yeah.
So, Jay, do you have any wish to show us where to find the goals? Like, I know where it is, but I haven't set up a share screen. So,
Yeah, I can show you.
if somebody else could show the screen, that would be good.
All right, let me just change my login to a different J. Please select the websites. Stand by. All right. So what you're looking at is my Google Analytics dashboard.
Right.
So it gives you a little overview of all the things. So if I scroll down to the bottom, this box is my goals.
Right.
Okay, so it's a collection of all my goals over the last 7 days. Now, a little bit of an advanced thing here, real quick. If you look here, there's a page value associated to which pages do your users visit. See?
Yes.
That page value is associated to my goals, where I've set monetary goals behind. Okay. All right. So this is your overview. So if I click on Goals Overview, this will take me into a little more of a detailed area. And it shows you my goal completions. Okay. And it's showing me all of my goals here. So I can select individual goals here by going to the goal completions like that. So let's go, let's see. Let's go click to WA review. All right, so now what I'm looking at is just the one specific goal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got, where people are coming from to complete the goal. I can go to this, I can go click my source, and I see that, the majority of the goals that are being completed are through organic search,
Mm-hmm.
I can also reverse goal path. So what does that mean? So if I click on that, and just do the click to WA review. And what this is, so this is the end result here.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they were before. And then this is where they were before that, if applicable. Okay. So I can set here and I can see where people are coming in. So for example, I can see that people are coming from this particular URL.
Mm-hmm.
If it's doubled like that, it just means that's the only previous step.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I can see that, let's see here. Let's move you guys over. Okay, so here's a nice easy one to look at. Number 9. So the first step is that they went to the Start Here page. So I can just show you what it looks like.
That's your little pop-up, right?
No, this one actually is the first place this is the Start Here page.
Oh.
Okay, so it's right within my menu.
Mm.
Okay, so they've started here and they've seen there's my dorky face, and then from here they clicked on, where do they go? 1 second. Beginner's Guide to Affiliate Marketing. Okay, so and that's probably right here. So they clicked on this. Okay.
So that especially not only does it point to the page they were on, but also when they clicked on even a link within a page.
Yep. Precisely. Yeah, exactly. And then they clicked on this link right here, the number 1 recommendation, which took them to here. So we can see there is the path right there. So that's cool. So that's how I got that one goal, is from that source.
Right.
Okay. So, and then again, here's another one, resources, WordPress themes. So they went resources, WordPress themes. I think it was 1140 Pro review. Yes. We went here. And then from here, they went to, they clicked on either that or they clicked on that. So that's what I really like about starting right from inception, is because even if you only get 1 or 2 goals in a 7-day period, you could track precisely where they came from and what source, whether it's like from Google, a referral, where they actually typed in your URL. So it gives you a great amount of detail in terms of the whole path as to where people are coming from. Okay. Now, setting up a goal is actually a lot easier than it.
Yeah, you go to conversions and then goals.
Yeah, so this is where you can see your goals. Now, if you want to set up a goal, you have to click on the admin tab on the bottom. And then you go
view.
So we have 3 columns, right? And the third column is it's the view settings. That's where your goals will be. So you click on that, click on goals. And then these are your goals, right? So if I were to create a new goal, It says, well, what do you want to do, right? Is this a revenue and acquisition or an inquiry, right? So I want to see how many people visit my contact page. So if I click on Contact Us, click on Continue, I get to name my goal, Contact Us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could place my goal in a certain slot. And then what type of goal is it? Is it a destination, a duration, page per session, or an event? So it's a destination. So a destination.
So how would I know that that's a destination?
Pardon me?
How would I know that that's like that last list? That terminology made no sense to me. How would I know?
Okay, sure. So destination is, see, it says example.
Oh,
thanks.
HTML. Okay.
Yeah, so it's where people are going to for this contact page. So typically the on a contact us page, you'd have a thanks. You know, typically that's the best thing. That's the easiest way to track visitors by setting up a goal, is creating a thanks page that redirects to that page after someone fills in the form.
Right.
Okay. So I'll click on continue again, and then it says goal destination equals to, and then I put the URL. So I can just literally put, I think it's thanks. Yeah. So you could put in the entire URL, or you could just go / thanks.
Thanks. Mm-hmm.
Like that, right? And we go value. So I could put a value in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to put that, say that's a $1 lead, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Funnel is actually, this is what I really like with this aspect, is the funnel is that if you have a specific way you're trying to get people to get to that end result.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, home, about, contact, you're trying to get people to do that. This is where you could set up that funnel, right? So you go home, about, contact, right?
Or home, subscribe or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then you can verify this goal. All right, so it looks like no conversions to this one yet. So, and then I press save, and then I saved it, and then it's done. Right? I'm not going to do that because
no.
Okay.
Hey, Jay.
Hello.
Would you do a thank you page plus a response email that thanked them for signing up or for contacting you, verifying that they got that we did receive the comment? You do both then, right?
Oh, a comment?
Well, the way I have my contact form set up is that there's an automatic response. When they fill out the form, it automatically sends them an email saying, "We've received your contact and your information,
okay.
and we'll be responding back to you in, a certain amount of time." Would you do both then?
Yes. I mean, so an automated email does get sent saying, "Hey, thanks for your email, appreciate it." But it also gets sent. So I also have the thank you page as well, right? Because you can't track the email, but you can track a destination, a specific page.
Okay.
Right. And I'm pretty sure contact form 7 allows you to redirect to a page if you want. Yeah, so you just create a thank you page. You don't have to design it or anything. It's just a simple message. "Hey, thanks very much for sending us a message. We'll get back to you, promptly."
Yes, it does. It does allow you to go to a different page. It can be a thank you page or back to your home page or whatever page you want it to go to.
Right. Yeah, so that's what you want to track, right?
So on my Being Your Own CEO website, there's a form, a Google form that people fill in when they want to participate in this Being Your Own CEO. Could I use that form as one of the goals?
What happens? What happens when people fill in that form?
It adds to a spreadsheet that then generates the email in the calendar. In
Do
Chipmunk.
they get a response or anything? Does it get like a thank you page? Does it redirect? So yes, you could do it, but the easiest way is to create a thank you, like have it redirect. When I fill in that form, where does it go? What happens to that afterwards? Is it just like a message? Does it just go back to the same page?
There's a pop-up that says thank you right there, and then it posts automatically to a Google spreadsheet, which then sends them an email. Am I right, Vivek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, without seeing it, I like. Here's what I would change: is I would change, instead of the pop-up, I would change it to a thank you page, like a dedicated. I'd create a thank you page and have it redirect to the thanks page.
The pop-up comes from the Google form itself. We have no real control over that as such.
Oh, okay. Well, that I don't know then. So that I'm not sure. I'm sure Vivek will be able to investigate that.
Yeah.
Because you can put variables in it, Vivek. So if you could create some variables and set up a goal, that would be ideal. Yeah, but that's pretty. That's something that not a lot of people are going to need to know about. So,
right.
But is it possible? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but what David was asking, in a sense, so similar thing is happening with the Google form. So you may not be able to set that up as a goal or a element in the goal in the funnel, but you will have the result in the spreadsheet in this case. So
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I don't think it's just. I think at the very least, just have some sort of goal where if you want people to even just go to a specific page, you can see that as a goal, right?
Right.
It doesn't always necessarily need to be the end result, like the final result, right?
Right.
So this particular goal here, 3 awesome landing page, I'm tracking to see where people are coming from when they land on that particular page. So I'm seeing, so it's just a way for me to do that reverse funnel path.
Right.
Right. So.
Well,
goals are good. Goals are good.
Yeah, that helps me sort of, again, I always need the big picture before I can figure out the little pieces. So that definitely helps me with the big picture. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's the I'm seeing there's a bunch of work I need to do. I hear David saying the same, and I hear Vivek saying the same, and I guess Fred, you would be would saying the same as well. So I guess we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, I got my confirmation. I have to leave here shortly.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Think of it as traffic accounting, right? You want to know your numbers. You want to know your traffic.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes good sense, but it may mean some adjustments. I know that, for example, on one of my websites, I'm using an opt-in plugin, and I'm not sure if it sends a thank you page, so I need to go in and look and make sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like there's some background things that need to be checked before you could actually set this up. For sure. Well, thank you for
One
that.
thing
Yeah.
You're welcome. One thing I forgot to mention, I don't use it personally, but they actually have what's called gallery goals. So if you see, there's a button here that says import from gallery.
Mm-hmm.
So I can actually click on that. A little pop-up window comes up. And these are different goals, right? So traffic acquisition from social media,
Oh my. Mm.
contact form submission,
Oh.
E-commerce, and all this kind of stuff. These are different. Now, I should mention, these aren't just goals. These are like segmentations and audience definition that are set up in different areas within your analytics.
Mm.
But they're actually quite useful.
Okay.
So something to play around with. What I would do though, before you set this up, like start messing around with these things, is create what's called a second view. So let me see if I can get out of this here. Okay. All right, so this third column here is the view column, right? So if you go create view, create a new view,
Mm-hmm.
and just call it like sandbox or something,
Right.
create a view. Okay, so now I'm in the sandbox view right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now I can create goals and I can start messing around with these different goals, if I wanted to. So like I want to do traffic acquisition from social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So looks good. So then I can import that. It says, well, what view do you want to use? I want to use my sandbox.
Uh-huh.
So that way you're not messing with your analytics at all.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's using, see where it says custom reports right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's created a custom goals and reports and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, it's got to set up the goals and all that stuff, right? So we'll go back to my home page. And see, it doesn't have anything because it's starting fresh. It doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't provide retroactive stuff here. So, but if I were to change my view to my main view, you'll see all this stuff change.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's just a nice way if you want to learn, and mess around with Google Analytics. Creating those views are actually quite handy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would make me feel a lot better to go in there and mess with it first while I figure out what it's doing. Yeah, that makes good sense.
Yeah.
Right on.
With that, I'm going to have to go. I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Thanks, Jay, for all the information. And
You're
Vivek.
welcome.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we are at the top of the hour, and unless there are any questions, anybody? Well, we lost Alana. I wonder what happened. She was there for a minute.
I think she was on the phone, and probably she got called off to do something.
Oh, maybe. I know she was. Her first comment was, "I'm frustrated." So, Fred, you always like to have the last word. Do you want the last word this morning?
You have muted.
I lost my screen there for a bit to unmute myself. Well, I always appreciate being asked. I would just say what came to mind when you're talking about Google Plus going offline eventually. I'd say don't worry, be happy. I've always found when all these things come, we always find a way.
Yeah,
We'll
we
find
will.
it.
We will.
And I think Jay said that in a different way.
Yes.
Said
Yeah.
almost something similar.
Yeah.
And that was that. But I also appreciate the fact, showing me more about Google Analytics. I've had it up and running for a couple of weeks. I've had a couple of views, but this has helped me enormously.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
once again, thank you very much. As I said, I've learned a lot over I can't believe it's been a couple of years now. I think.
Is it really?
Yeah, unbelievable. And
Yeah.
anyway, I really do appreciate it as always.
Right.
And now, as I said previous, I can always go back and look and say, oh, remember Jay was showing us? You can always go back and look at review what he was showing us on the screen when we want to
Yeah.
implement something that was shown. So it's very valuable information because it's available on.
It's evergreen.
I know.
Yes.
So
That's-
thank you.
Yeah. Right on. Well, before we close, I thought I might mention what we're going to do next week. Last week we sort of talked about the fact that we would like to, I think it was Alana who said, I'd like to know a lot more about the whole process of publishing. What do I need to know if I did decide to write a book? What are all the things that I need to know? So, Susan, when we were discussing that last week, she mentioned a lady named Diana Needham. And so we have arranged to have Diana and Susan both come next week to talk about specifically all the legal things, everything that you need to know about publishing. Not that we're going to do it, but it's just useful information for us to have. What do we need to know? If we suddenly decide we need to do that, then these are the pieces that you need to take into consideration, kind of thing. So that's what next week's will be. So now, let's see. I guess I think we're finished unless anybody has a parting comment they would like to make.
I think, yeah, there was a question asked at the beginning of today's session. Should we set up goals because there are not many visitors and so on? I think that question has been answered properly, but I would like to add to what was said. For example, you want to eat an apple, or you want to eat a mango. I'm an Indian, so talk about mango. When you want to eat that mango, you have to plant a tree. You have to work on the soil. You have to go through all the process. So when is the right time to do that? Well, now.
Yes.
That's deep, Vivek, just like deep like the soil that you put your mango tree in.
I was going to tell you though that when you say apple, you use the right metaphor for us because British Columbia is very famous for its apples. So
yeah, but you need to you can't just want an apple and not worry about the tree. You have to
you have to plant the tree first.
Plant the tree.
Yeah. Do it properly first. Set everything up properly.
Tree and growing, it takes time. It doesn't happen just overnight. So
yeah, isn't that the truth? Right. So that's a good lesson for us to end on. So I just want to remind everyone that it's important to do what you love with passion, and we shall see you next week. So I am going to do the scrolling